Hey, as some of you know, I've increased my video blog related stuff on my YouTube channel. I'm just starting to get into this, so it'll be interesting to address some different topics. But I'm curious what some of your opinions are on with regards to relationships and the boundaries that go with those relationships. And what I mean, to make it clear, is not necessarily the boundaries that you have in your own particular relationships. Those are extremely detailed, and there's a billion different versions of relationships that I'd really rather not get into. But the question has been posed in multiple of my friend groups of late as to what the limits are as it relates to boundaries with people outside your relationship. So when you're in a relationship with someone, what are the boundaries as it relates to what someone else can say, what someone else can do, etc.? And that goes for all relationships. If you have an open relationship, if you have a monogamous relationship, if you're, married to 6 people, it doesn't matter. There are particular boundaries that are set for people outside of that relationship, and I'm curious what those boundaries are for you. And just to give an example, for me, one of those boundaries has to do with what people outside your relationship say and do around you, to you, around your girlfriend or boyfriend, to your girlfriend or boyfriend, basically, publicly, etc. I think that it would be, and this is just an example, totally inappropriate for any of my friends who may or may not have been past relationships, for any of them to say or do anything that is flirty, suggestive, or that is descriptive in any way of what they may have done with me in the past, or what they are interested in doing with me now, whatever the situation. It's basically just plain inappropriate. To me, it indicates, first of all, a problem with their maturity level and a problem with their intelligence level. And that's a judgment on my part, I'll admit, but that's just my opinion. And I would also say that it indicates, if they feel like it's okay to do that, it indicates something on my part as well. It indicates that I'm either A, willing to have a friend who doesn't know anything about boundaries, and therefore says something about my own maturity level and intelligence level, or it says, B, that basically, even though my friends may or may not know about boundaries, I have not made those boundaries clear. And if I haven't made those boundaries clear, then there's something to look at myself about. Perhaps I should question, should I really be in this relationship? Am I really serious about this relationship? To what level of regard do I hold this relationship, etc.? Because if I'm willing to allow my friends to say and do suggestive and flirty things, where my partner can experience those things, negative or positive, then that's something to be questioned. I just feel like that's kind of the case. And the same thing, on the part of my partner. If my partner has friends like that, then I would say the same thing, regarding her. She may have something that she needs to question about herself that lets her have those kind of friends, or that lets her allow her friends to do that, maybe I should say. And I just think it's totally inappropriate. I think what happens in those cases is when people think that they can say those things, it's an indication that they feel like they have a different boundary with you than the average friend. They feel like it's okay to say these things because we've, had a past relationship, and so I can say and do these things and it's okay. They don't realize that that boundary has been reset. When your relationship ends, the boundaries are reset. And if the boundaries are not reset, then that's a whole messy area that, people create for themselves. But my point is, I have a boundary against those messy areas. And that's just an example, just one example of, I'm sure, the many boundary issues that people may have regarding their relationships with their partners when people from the outside come in and say and do things. And like I said, there's all kinds of scenarios. Some people are in open relationships, and so maybe they're with somebody else who is technically outside the relationship, but they also should have boundaries there. What can those people say and do? What's appropriate, for your friends to say and do? you know, in all kinds of scenarios. And that's my question, so go ahead and answer it. I'm curious what other people have to say about it.